What's good with it? My name is Troy Evans, man, and this is a special edition of It's a Vibe, man. At the end of the day, I'm a pastor, an engineer, and who just so happened to become a strategist. And we decided to smash it together and create what we know now as Simple Now, where we make AI easy. Look here. Now, I have invited some family and friends who all work with me at building both our nonprofit side of our world and our for-profit side of the world. At the end of the day, we have this nonprofit where we equip leaders to do the work of ministry. And then we decided that, man, we're doing this equipping. Man, we have services we can provide to the world, and we can lower the cost of it. We can make it affordable, and we can bring great services through training, through strategic planning, through app development and integration. Now, I invited part of my team, not everybody's here, but invited part of the team in action to sit in with me, to do some things. And I would just love for you just to sit back and hear from them, how have they engaged with AI in their everyday workflow. Let's go. It's about a vibe. What up, Philip?
Yo, yo.
I'm really excited to have literally one of my closest friends with me today to just share, sit back, you know what I'm saying? Don't blink your eyes. There's a lot to be said and to be done. Everybody meet my man Philip Stuckmeyer, and I'm the only person other than his mama that call him Philip.
That is true.
So Phil Stuckmeyer, what up though?
Good to be with you.
Yes, sir. So Phil, let's bring people into what is this world of what the Lord has allowed you to be a part of, and so, you know, go back some years and you land, you're a youth pastor, you get this silly idea to do some things. What is it?
Yeah, church planting was a new vocabulary word for me in the beginning, but had a quick background right before that in discipleship and disciple making, and experienced a disciple making disciple ministry that, man, was just so formative and in my DNA. And it really was like, if that happens, if you can make disciples who make disciples, what does that become?
Yeah.
Is what made sense of church planting.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be about gathering people in a church.
Yeah.
It'd be about making disciples, raising up disciples, finding leaders among the disciples. And that is church.
Yeah, man.
You get
Yeah.
church when you disciple people and find leaders. And so church planting made sense because as you find leaders and are making disciples, you send them out. So that was a quick beginning that went into this. I didn't know church planting was a thing when it was first introduced to me, but discovered this. And the big connection was the word movement, and the thought of what Jesus started could not result in church. It has to be bigger than church. And church is the vehicle in the movement that Jesus started, and that disciple making, leader raising, church multiplying thing fit movement language. Like, okay, this could lead to a movement.
Man, I think one of the fascinating parts about what God allowed you to be a part of and just be on cruise control and take the wheel every once in a while was the fact, you know, the size of the town that you're in, and then this audacious, you almost have to feel embarrassed to say what the goal was in 10 years.
Okay, right.
You got it.
Right.
But I think it's important. Like, so give them a little context of Lowell, and then what was the vision for that multiplication?
Yeah. Along with the discipleship background was Acts 2 and the Acts 2 church as what a community of disciple lives should look like. And so the dream of relocating and going to a new community to start a church was to start an Acts 2 community out of disciple making. And there was no scope to that as far as what size would that be necessarily. It just would be the reproducing piece was what was natural. Like, if you do that, that should keep going. So the thought of starting a church in Lowell, Michigan was never the goal. It was, if we do that, shouldn't that start other churches that start other churches? If disciples make disciples who make disciples. So the language became, what if we start 3 churches in 5 years and 10 in 10
Yeah.
out of this principle? And I did youth ministry for 4 years at a church of about 800 people. That there was a new senior leader that I kind of came in under, and I saw that church grow from 800 to about 1,200. And it was just what I knew of church. I actually had a pretty, I had a Catholic upbringing, so church, as I was discovering, I didn't know anything about. So it was the reproducing what I knew. So there was a thought that our first church would be, we would get to 400 relatively quickly. We would get to start at maybe 200 and get to 400, and then we would start sending off and sending out. And I had heard at that point, if you do that, you will keep growing because of the culture you create through that.
Yeah.
So there was a thought of when we're 400, when we're 600, when we're 800, we would be sending off to next communities over and this kind of thing. So 3 churches in 5, 10 in 10, disciple making, leader raising, church multiplying, and it was just crazy how that is what happened.
Yeah.
It would be important to note it was a white bedroom community, a homogenous community where the church growth principle in homogenous communities works and happens. So, and it was real, but noting that context is really important to the story too.
Yeah, I think that. So we're gonna go through this really quickly, but I think to be clear, so we're talking about a city less than 5,000 people, right?
Yep. About 3,500 were in the town, maybe is even a better word, the town of Lowell.
And then the church, in terms of the, church, people that would call themselves members of the church at the time, at its peak, would be roughly...
Like before we started, or
no, actually, So when you planted your at a place, when it got to its peak, before you stepped away, what?
We were at about 1,000.
Yeah.
We're hitting that 1,000 mark.
So that is
as planting 3 and 5, and we were working on, I think we were about 9 when I left. 9 churches, other
within
10
the 10 years.
In that, and the church itself was running about 1,000 with 9 expressions of multiplication.
And for people that don't know the way this works, when you are sending, and you're sending church, people go. Other people go. So it is, you're sending a family, but there's other people that consider going. You got this church turnover, you got all this stuff, and yet it was just like the Lord was almost honoring the fact that y'all are willing to let people go. I was saying the other day, like, we say that, but we bring them in, we sit them down, we raise them up, we send them out.
Yep.
Ouch. To watch them go, to watch some of the people that we, our friends, to go and have to go and plant church. You have to buy the first Bible from Meyer and those kind of things, right? And then you got to watch them go. Yep. So I think jumping forward into leaving, and it's a whole separate thing, we don't have to get into that, but like just leaving there to go into doing, leading church multiplication for the Wesleyan denomination. What was your big, holy discontent? Because there was a shift that went from what you have learned to be what church is to like something happened, and it was. I know I was there. I can't really pinpoint what happened.
Yeah, I think when the network was kind of adopted by the denomination, and when I went to headquarters, it was the campaign or the big banner being raised was urban urgency, and in the work of planting, that we had done some mapping of where are all the churches, where should we go, where should we plant, where aren't we, and it became a map, and we used a population density map and a church location map to see where's everything at, and what we noticed is predominantly our churches are where people aren't.
Yeah.
And again, it followed a color line of predominantly in white spaces is where our churches were, which were actually low density compared to urban centers and urban places. And it was really that experience. It had always been in my heart, and it was never anything avoided.
Right.
But it was like that was the door opening to
Yeah.
a bigger world, and it was like, man, if we can see what is happening in outlying bedroom communities, in suburban settings of disciple making, leader raising,
Yeah.
church multiplying, that's got to be able to happen in this urban space as well. We got to figure that out.
Yeah. And that's where the diversity, density, and disparity is how we define urban. And that's about as good as we got right now.
Yep.
You know, when we figure the rest of it out, we'll get back
Yep.
to you.
Yep.
But right there, if you can do that, you can really start to hone in,
Yep.
put your resources in that kind of thing. So we're going to hyperspeed and just dive into this new world of AI and tech. You've always been innovative, but I don't think you ever said like, oh yeah, I'm a tech. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you've always been like forward thinking. You gotta be a church planter, you gotta be that.
Yeah.
How have you, carefully and safely navigated, and how do you use AI in your everyday workflow? How do you
Yeah.
do that?
I'll get it. The connection to some of the urban and the pull there would be just wanting to be more like you. Just trying to keep up with
That's a
you
bad choice.
and your antics and your ways. That really has been inspiring to stop. Again, it's all common now. Stop scrolling and start learning.
Yeah.
And start growing yourself.
Wow. Stop
and
scrolling and start learning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's got to be, I really, before AI, self-leadership has always been a strong part
Yep,
of
absolutely.
leadership development is how do you lead yourself? And AI became a component.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be a relevant leader
Yep.
today,
Yeah.
let alone tomorrow, I need to get on a growth curve, a learning curve
Yeah.
of AI, or I'm gonna be left behind.
Yeah, man.
And so as simple as my first thing was ChatGPT, exploring that. And I was worried about getting lost in it all.
Yep.
So I said, I'm gonna do one.
Yep.
I'll play with others, but I'm gonna try to
Yes, sir.
really follow under one. And the big why to me was like, everything I do, I can do better with the help of AI.
Yep.
And whoever I'm serving, whoever I'm leading and serving don't I owe them better? If
Jeez.
ever better is an option. So it can be meeting agendas, it can be communication pieces, it can be tools and stuff that I do. But if I do it with AI, it just gets better.
Yeah. That's where I want to land. That right there is like, if I really want to serve people and serve them better, then let me use the tools that have been afforded to me.
Yeah.
My
My sermons are better. My meetings, because of better agendas and more connection from the last agenda to the next. My communications, all of that is I am a more effective leader, you could say, but that seems
Right.
But I serve
More efficient.
I serve people better.
Yeah, man.
I serve the kingdom better. I serve God better.
Jeez.
Utilizing this.
You heard it right here. Philip Struckmeyer, you know what I'm saying? Like the idea that, man, is if you think about it, like how can I use this tool, like a good hammer, to serve people well, and serve better? And I think leading with that, then maybe we don't get caught in the AI hole. It's like, why am I doing my why? Let me make that switch of like, this is my why behind it. I just really want to serve people. You know, I want to be a Christian, be a good leader to serve people. So there it is.
And that I would even say the why Simple Now seems so relevant is it's only been 6 months, but if I were to start now and try to do what I've done with how prolific the tools are and the apps and how many things, that I would not be able to navigate it like I did then just on my own. And I was watching you, I was shadowing you, whether you knew it or not, doing what you were doing. But I would so recommend using Simple Now and getting help. If you are not using it yet, you need Simple Now because you're behind.
Let's go. You heard it here. We out.